Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Tommy. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Today I'm talking to the ladies and the topic is, what do you bring to the table? So just a disclaimer, this is not a video just to tell you ladies what to do for you to bag yourself a man or a good guy, or the things that you have to do as a woman. This is just things that I've thought about in my life, things that, you know, I've discussed with people, how we women can truly be who God has called us to be and be the best, you know, that we can be, so that when we know who we are as a person and we know what value we bring to a relationship, then a guy would understand, you know, how to, not necessarily how to treat us, but we just know levels, like, you know, this is not someone to be messed with. And I'm going to start by saying this: understanding who you are as a person, as a woman, will determine the kind of guys that you allow into your lives. If you don't know who God has called you to be, or if you don't know yourself or what you carry, then anything that looks like what you believe is good or what you believe that you deserve, you would take it. Even if a guy is treating you like crap, he doesn't talk to you with respect, because you yourself may not respect yourself. You will take anything that just looks like, oh my gosh, at least they want me. And I really want us, you know, as women to begin to understand who we are and what we bring to the table, because once you know that, then that will also determine the kind of guys that approach you. I remember a couple of months ago, I did a survey on my Instagram page, and I was asking guys, you know, what are the things that you see in a woman that makes you want a woman, that makes you feel like, oh wow, this is the kind of woman I would want in my life. And a lot of them, you know, talked about certain qualities they look for in a woman. And the funny thing is, not a lot. I mean, some people talked about the physical attributes, which obviously is important. If you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you need to somewhat, you know, some way, shape or form be attracted to them physically. But, you know, a lot of people talked about, you know, the way she carries herself, how she treats people that may be below her in the status quo of life, how she talks to people, does she respect people, her relationship with God, you know, that will obviously reflect on the way she is generally. Some people mentioned about her being able to cook, but it wasn't like, oh, if she can't cook, then I can't marry her. It wasn't like that. It was just a topic, like, you know, it was just a quality that, you know, some men said they would appreciate about a woman. And it got me thinking, like, okay, it's great that, you know, you guys mention all this stuff, but are you able to bring it to the table as well? This is the kind of questions I pose back to some of these guys. And, you know, oh yeah, some people said, you know, how is she able to lift me up when I'm down? You know, when a guy shares, you know, sad information with you, or just like, you know, a bad day, are you able to uplift the spirit? I'm not saying that, you know, we're meant to be saviors as women, you know, I'm not here to come and baby you or to be your mom, but there's something about a woman who, everyone that comes into her life, she adds value. So whether or not the person is your boyfriend or someone that, you know, that you want to become your boyfriend or your partner, it's just like, because you're so great and you add value everywhere, everyone wants to be near you. Like, there's something about a prayerful woman, a woman that just understands the authority God has given unto her, that understands the power God has given unto her, that you're able to pray life into situations. And the funny thing is, women, if only we understand how powerful we are and how we can use our power for good rather than bad. Like the same way where you see some men, they get married to a good woman and everything just turns around for good for them. Like, you know, the Bible says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Not every wife is good, but some wives are really that good that when the man gets married, everything just changes for him. The same way some men get married and everything just goes downhill. That's why I believe even the life partner, the person that you choose to marry, if not, it's one of the biggest decisions of your life. If not, yeah, I'll say probably one of the biggest, because you can marry the wrong person and everything just, you know, that's just destiny ruined. But what I want to talk about is just like, you know, the qualities of us as women. Checking ourselves. I mean, I know a lot of women that are just, you know, constantly working on themselves, you know, being a better person. And I'm telling you this, I'm not telling you if you do all this stuff, it means you're going to bag a good guy. But you have to get to that point as a woman where you're not doing things just because you want a man to see you. You're not doing things just because you want a man to see your worth. A man's inability to see your worth does not change your worth. It doesn't mean that it doesn't change your value. Just because he can't see you, just because a certain guy can't see it, doesn't mean that God has not made you a valuable person. Doesn't mean that you're not someone that adds value. So when you stop doing stuff just because you're trying to please a guy, you're cooking for the whole community because you want them to see a wifey quality in you. No. You just, I mean, if you love cooking, you can cook and people will come and eat your food. But don't do things, you're giving husband benefits to a boyfriend because you want him to really propose to you. Like, giving up the cookie. Even now we've made sex a thing of, it's just only for the woman, it's meant to hold herself. The Bible was very clear. It's very clear about premarital sex. It's not just for the woman to hold herself, it's for the man as well. But a lot of women, you kind of lower your standards because there's no good guys out there. So if you are just with this one guy who is not God-fearing, doesn't treat you like doesn't treat you special, doesn't appreciate or truly love you, but then you don't mind just lowering your standards or compromising just because you want that ring. I'm sorry to say this, and it sounds funny coming from a married woman, but your sole purpose in life as a woman is not to get married. Some people will leave this planet and not be married. I mean, if you really desire marriage, I really pray that God will bless you with your heart desires. I'm not saying you shouldn't get married, please don't get me wrong, but my point is, don't focus so much on marriage that you just marry just anybody, somebody that God has not called, and somebody that God has not put into your life. You put them there, and then eventually when you get into the marriage and it's not going well, you start blaming God and you hate everybody and all that stuff. Like, just being a great woman where you're just positive, like you speak life into the situation. A guy can call you, and by the time he gets off the phone to you, he feels better. I'm not saying, okay, feminist, before you start talking about whatever, women, I'm not his mom, that's fine. I believe in myself in terms of the things that God has put into my heart, my mind to do. I don't need to compete with a man for me to feel like, yes, my voice has to be heard. My voice is heard, and my voice is heard even in the place of prayer. I just like to focus on the things I know I can do to help somebody or to make somebody's life better. It doesn't mean I'm trying to change him or trying to force him to change, but just me being a positive influence. If you're dating a guy, let's say you're a Christian and you're dating a guy, you've been dating for like 4 years, and nothing about him is changed for the good, and you may need to check yourself. He hasn't seen something in you that says, wow, I want to know what God this girl serves. I want to know what she's about. I want to change. I want to be better because she's better. I want to change because she's just a great woman. If you haven't had no form of influence, I said influence, I didn't say change, because you can't change anybody. Only God can change somebody. But if you haven't influenced the person in a positive light, for a guy to say, wow, it was when I got with her that my relationship with God got better. It was when I got with her that I took school serious. It was when I got with her. Like, there has to be something in you that a guy sees. Because the thing is, when you bring so much to the table, a good man can recognize, and I said a good man, I use that word very carefully, a good man, because the thing is, are you a safe place for a man to run to? Like, now I'm talking to married women, like, you're married now as well. What things are you doing to keep your home? How are you covering, your husband in prayer? How are you speaking life over him everywhere he goes? How are you, just random positive text messages, just to encourage him and, just speak life over his life. You may have gotten married thinking that something was going to change, and he hasn't changed. And I want to encourage you, just keep being the positive light that you are. Like, even I can't remember what scripture it is, where it is in the Bible that talks about, a woman, if a woman is living with an unbeliever, that do you not know that your own attitude, just the way you are, can even bring him to Christ. So don't lose hope, thinking that, oh my gosh, he's not going to change, why should I be praying for him? Like, just keep doing that, but at the same time, be that woman that he knows, he sees that, wow, she is such a worthy woman, like she is so valuable, like she's not a liability, because trust me, no man wants a liability. Like, even our young generation, some ladies are waiting for that rich man to come and marry them and things like that. That's good, but trust me, even a man that is mega rich and doesn't mind spending on you, eventually he's going to tell you, you need to do something with your life. Like, you have to be that woman where you bring so much to the table that a man can't even question that. He can't be like, oh yeah, whatever, before he even thinks of stepping out. Don't get me wrong, some people, you can be the best woman ever, some men will still step out, whatever the case may be. But then these are the things that you see while you're dating. Like, no one just wakes up and say, oh yeah, I want to just cheat. Like, and I don't believe once a cheater cheat out loyalty. I don't believe that, people, but I believe that your core values, like who you really are, who you say you are, says a lot about you, like, you know, what you do, the way you treat people. Like, these signs we see. And I always tell ladies, a man that does not change to have you will not change to keep you. So let's stop this, or you're trying to force a change on him, or maybe when we get married, things are going to change, he's going to be better. If he doesn't think of changing before he even marries you, then I'm sorry, unless he himself wants to change, you can't force a man to change. And if a man doesn't see the need for him to change, then that's not your responsibility. But when you're a woman that of purpose, a woman that brings so much to the table, he's not thinking, oh my goodness, oh, should I change, should I not change? He has to see the reason why he wants to change. And when you're a woman who you're there doing the things that God has called you to do, then that's only when a man, or the man that God has ordained for you, will be able to see you. I mean, some ladies, like, you know, some of you ladies, you really want to be in a relationship, but you're always in the house, you don't go out, you don't mingle with people, you're not open. The man is not gonna come flying through your door to come and, you know, or come and carry you and, you know, whisk you away. But one thing I realized as well is that love finds you when you're not looking. For me especially, that's my story. I wasn't like so desperate to get married. I knew that one day that I was gonna be a good mother, I was gonna be a good wife, somebody. But I wasn't like, oh my goodness, I have to get married at this age and all that stuff. Because when you start doing that as well, it kind of clouds your judgment, because you're so desperate to get married, or you're so desperate for a guy to see you or to validate your worth, that anything that looks like the real deal, you fall for it, and you're like, oh my god, this must be it. And then you spend so much time trying to change the person or trying to make them see your worth that nothing ever changes, and then you get hurt in the end. Being a woman of value means that you know who God has called you to be. You know that you're a queen, so you won't even settle for a guy that's not even ready to be a prince. And I'm not saying that, you know, you have to expect perfection, because no one is perfect. I'm not perfect, and you know, you're gonna meet people who are going through different phases in their life. But as a woman, you have to be able to say, this is what I do, this is what I can do, this is what I can bring to the table. What do you bring to the table? Like, I am so big on having purposeful relationships that where you add value. Like, even for my friendship with my girlfriends, I check myself, you know, what am I bringing to this table? How am I adding to this person? And how are they adding to me? If I can't see anything, if you're just a receiver, you're a taker, all you do is just take from me, you have nothing to offer, then eventually I'm going to cut that relationship off. And that's the way it should be with everyone that you meet. You have to be able to get to that point where you're able to deposit something positive in that person. You know, do you challenge people? Are you an encourager? Like, you know, when people talk to you, they feel encouraged. When they talk to you, they feel empowered. Like, you know, when someone talks to you, they feel like, okay, you know, everything's gonna be all right. Or are you someone that, you know, you're always just gossiping, you don't have nothing nice to say about anybody, you rarely give compliments to anyone, you rarely have anything positive to say? People are gonna stay away from you, and definitely men will stay away from you, because one thing I realize is a lot of men are actually like babies. They want to be loved and cuddled and all that. Even with the hard, some people have the hard exterior, they still want to be loved. So as a woman, you have to just understand, like, when I look at, like, in the life of Esther, like, she wasn't just waiting for things to happen for her. She was doing the things that she needed to do. Like, when I look at the Proverbs 31 woman, like, she was out in the fields, like, providing for her family. I mean, you know, people nowadays want to argue with the whole feminism thing and all that stuff. I know that there's some things that God has put in my heart to do as a woman that a man can't do. Like, you know, the ability to multitask. We know a lot of men struggle with that, and that's something that I take. That's a strength that I have as a woman, where I'm able to do so many things at the same time, and I'm able to excel in them because God has given me that power. So when we start focusing as women on the good things, on the positive things that we are able to do, that we are able to achieve, then that way everyone that comes around us, females, males, whatever, like, you know, we're able to just be a positive force, a positive impact. Like, everyone that talks to us, they feel wow, they feel empowered. And I want to challenge you, if you're a woman, you're watching this, and you know, you check your relationship and it's like, you know, there's nothing going on, you have nothing to offer, then go back to the drawing board, ask God. I love the book of Jeremiah, talking about, you know, even before I was formed in my mother's womb, God knew who I was going to be. He knew me. So for me, the times where I feel lost, I go back to God and say, God, please show me, reveal how you see me to me. Because when God shows you how he sees you, how precious you are to him, trust me, it changes your whole view. It changes the way you approach anything. It changes the way you approach you know, relationships. You know, you go into a relationship wanting to just be a giver, wanting to just, you know, sow into that person's life. But before you do that, you want to make sure you are sowing in someone's life that can, you know, that will do the same for you, not wasting your time and, you know, just doing whatever. But anyway, let me stop here before I just ramble on. I really hope that your challenge as a woman, just to check yourself, this is not for a relationship, this is just for you are as a woman. You know, be the great woman God has called you to be. You know, do the many things that God has called you to do. Like, you know, don't give excuses. If there are things you want to work on as yourself as a single person, work on that now. Don't wait till marriage. Marriage is not going to fix you. Marriage will not fix your problems. You have to make that decision to make changes about your own life. If you're struggling with anger, you're struggling with backbiting, that's something that you have to work on yourself. Just because you get married doesn't mean that will just go away. You have to work on yourself for yourself. It's only when you work on yourself that you can be in a healthy relationship with somebody else. So you don't become, you're damaged already, you haven't worked on yourself, and then you bring that into marriage. That can only crash a marriage. But when you just take a mirror and you look at yourself, and I'm talking to myself as when I say these things to you ladies, I check myself, and I want to ask God to just give me the ability to always check myself and to always work on myself to be the best God has called me to be. And I really hope that you're challenged and you are encouraged as well. Check your relationships, even with your female friends and your girlfriends. Check the people that are taking from you, that are draining you, because if you just allow yourself to get drained all the time, then it's not a good look for you. You might just crash, and you don't want that. As you're pouring into people, make sure there's someone that is pouring into you as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe and comment. And yeah, any other topics you want me to discuss, you can find me on my social media platforms and message me, and I'll be happy to speak to you and connect to you guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye bye.